As summer workouts begin today for Indiana basketball, there seems to be a little excitement around the program.
You are Locked On Hoosiers, your daily podcast on the Indiana Hoosiers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. It is the Locked On Hoosiers podcast. I'm your man, Jacob Goins. I appreciate you being here, making this your first listen each and every day. We are a part of the Locked On Podcast Network, which is your team every day. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/locked-on to get started. Well, thank you so much for being here. Shout out to all of my everydayers. You are the reason this show has been so successful, so thank you so very much. We're going to hit all three today: basketball, football, and baseball. Summer workouts begin today for Indiana basketball. Football just got done wrapping up a huge recruiting weekend, and unfortunately, baseball sees their season come to an end. Summer workouts begin today for Indiana basketball, and there seems to be just a buzz around the players and the coaches. Everything that I've been told and the people that I've been talking to, they are saying that it's exciting inside the building. Everybody's excited to get here and get going today. Everybody had to be reported by this weekend, and everybody's here, and now everybody's going to be getting out there and starting to get after it a little bit. And while they're looking to see and kind of just get an idea of what we have, right? We know the players, we know the guys coming back, we know the recruits, we know the freshmen, and we know the transfer portal players. We know the names and the numbers. But now it's time to see them all on the floor at the same time. See them all in the weight room at the same time. See them all in the film room at the same time. And now's when you really start the season. Beginning of June, when you start to work out all the kinks. You start to figure out, okay, here's who we are. Here's what we have. Here's what we were not good at last year. Here's the type of team that we want to beat. That's what's exciting about these summer workouts. And I think you should be excited. I think the fans are excited. I know the players and coaches are just eager to get here and start things with these summer workouts and programs and everything like that. And I think you, the fans, should be excited for this. Just a reminder on kind of what to expect on this team, right? You have Mackenzie Mbako, Gabe Cupps, Malik Renew, Anthony Leal, Trey Galloway, and Jakai Newton. I know a lot of you were excited about him. I'm going to get to him in just a second. And then the guys coming in for Indiana, you have Bryson Tucker, the high school recruit, right? You have Oumar Ballo, Cannon Carlisle, Myles Rice, Langdon Hatton, and Luke Goody. All of those, except Bryson Tucker, of course, are from the transfer portal. So you have a good mixture of returnees and newbies, new guys. I think it's about half and half, right? I mean, it's pretty much right there. You still have that open roster spot, that scholarship, but I told you, I don't think they're going to use it, and they obviously haven't worried about it. So that's a solid team, man. That's a good combination of returners, some young freshmen coming in. Jakai Newton's a new guy because he didn't play last year. And you also have the best transfer portal class in the country. Now, here's what's exciting about Jakai Newton. I'm hearing that he just is so eager and excited and cannot even wait, like he's got ants in his pants, to get on the floor and just show what he can do because of what happened, because he hasn't been able to show us that. And I know a lot of you, I've seen you in the comments on YouTube and on Twitter and everything like that. People are excited about what Jakai Newton can bring to this team. What will his role be this year? I don't know. I think we're going to have to figure that out, because you do have two starting guards. You do have Trey Galloway. You do still have Gabe Cupps, even if some people, myself, don't think that he is all of that right now and whatever. Jakai Newton's very exciting, and he's going to be a superstar if he gets the opportunity to do that. And you should be excited about him. He's going to be raw as everything. I mean, he's going to be so raw. But if he can find some footing and find a role on this team and kind of get better as the years go on, good things are going to happen for Jakai Newton. Same thing with Bryson Tucker, the 5-star McDonald's All-American coming in through the high school ranks. He's going to be a stud too, and he's going to have to find his role as well. But I think he'll be a part of the rotation. There's no doubt about it. So that's exciting as well. And the fact that I keep hearing that everybody just wants to get here and get going, that's good. That makes me happy to hear that, because last year did not go the way we wanted it to. It didn't go the way it should have. That roster was much better than it showed. I truly believe that. And I will always go down believing that that team last year underperformed drastically. Yes, injuries had a part to play in that. There's no doubt about it. But if this team can stay healthy, the expectation should be through the roof. They should absolutely be to make the NCAA tournament and make a run in March. And it starts right now in June. As we have flipped the calendar to the next month, this is when it begins. I know the season's not for another 4 or 5 months, but this is when you figure out what you've got and what you need to improve on. This is when you start building your team and molding it the way that you want to. If you're Mike Woodson and this coaching staff, you have to use your combination of returnees with Malik Renew, Mackenzie Mbako, and Trey Galloway, and mold them and mesh them with Oumar Ballo and Myles Rice and Cannon Carlisle, plus the other new faces that are in here too that don't quite know their role yet. Luke Goody, Langdon Hatton, Bryson Tucker, those guys have to find ways to be in this rotation, and this is what you're trying to figure out over the summer. Side note on recruiting this summer, you'll have multiple camps going on. Tons of recruits are playing across the country. Heck, some of them are playing over in Italy, playing in some big-time events as well. So June is a very busy month for Indiana basketball, this current team and the recruiting side of things as well. But the fact that this team is so excited and just so ready to go, that's good. That makes me feel really good, and it should for you as well. The sky's the limit. And this team, it has no excuse to not be good this season, but it starts right now in June. It starts with the summer workouts, the summer camps, everything that they do on and off the floor, right? Learning all the basketball things, getting better as a team, but also bonding as a team off the floor, because basketball is such a special, unique sport where if you don't have team chemistry, just liking the other guys, you're not going to be a good team. I'm sorry. That's just how it works. You don't have to be their best friend, but you have to like them. You have to know them. You have to understand them for basketball to be for you to be a successful basketball team. That's just how it works. And so I'm hoping that Mike Woodson and his staff continue to preach brotherhood and all of those things that you can do right now in the summer, eating together at night, going and doing different things, going to the movies, just doing things, stupid things like that you think don't matter, but they do. So if Indiana can do all those things with the amount of talent that's on this roster, man, I'm telling you, this will be a good year for Indiana basketball, and it starts right now with the summer workouts here at the beginning of June. Well, coming up on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll hit some football, as it was a big recruiting weekend for Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers. Yes, it was highlighted by 5-star quarterback Julian Lewis, but we picked up a commitment this weekend as well. We'll talk about that coming up next on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by LinkedIn Jobs. When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. LinkedIn is not just another job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you cannot find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. LinkedIn is constantly finding ways to make the process easier. They even just launched a feature that helps you write job descriptions, making the process even easier and quicker, which is why 2.5 million small businesses use LinkedIn for hiring. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedoncollege. That's linkedin.com/lockedoncollege to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Welcome back to the Locked On Hoosiers. Appreciate you being here again, making this your go-to spot for all things Indiana athletics. Shout out to all of my audio listeners. If you're there on your platform, be sure you subscribe, follow, turn on notifications so you never miss a new episode. Also, to all of you on the YouTube channel, we continue to grow there. Like this video, comment down below, and be sure you subscribe to our channel, okay? We're making that surge to 3,000 subscribers, so thank you so much for being that. And, of course, all of my everydayers, you make this show so much special. Well, let's talk a little football here with Indiana because it was a big weekend for the Hoosiers here in Bloomington, as it was, of course, highlighted by the five-star quarterback Julian Lewis making his official visit to Bloomington. Not his first time in Indiana. He visited unofficially back in early February, but he came in with an official visit. Big weekend for the football program. We'll talk about Lewis, and then we'll talk about some of the other guys, including a commit this weekend for Curt Cignetti. But look, we've had this conversation about Julian Lewis. We understand his relationship, right, with Tino Sunseri, the quarterback coach, and how they have that long-standing relationship, which a lot of people feel that Lewis was almost just doing this as a favor. And maybe he was, and maybe he wasn't. But I told you this on Friday, how I don't care. It doesn't matter. I don't care why he decided to take an official visit here. The fact is that he did. And from what I heard, it went well. I haven't heard a ton about it, I'll be honest. But the fact that you were able to host a five-star quarterback, the most highly talented, rated, sought-after quarterback in the class, is, in my opinion, he was here this weekend. And you're able to say that. You're able to tell other recruits that. And hopefully, even if Julian Lewis doesn't pick Indiana, which I've told you I don't think he does, but hey, fingers crossed. Even if he doesn't, hopefully he at least tells other people, yeah, I had a good time. They got a good thing going up there in Bloomington. You should really go check it out, because somebody like him, his word is gold. His word carries very, very far and has a lot of impact behind it when he starts talking about coaches and programs and facilities and things like that. So if he does not choose Indiana, hopefully he at least continues to pay that favor of, yeah, I really enjoyed it up there. They're putting a lot of money into their program. The facilities are upgrading. They're going to be a legit team moving forward. Curt Cignetti is the real deal. I hope he continues to say that. I hope he does. And look, you just never know, but he was on campus this weekend, and he had a whole photo shoot, a photo op with a guitar and everything. It was kind of crazy, but that's how those recruiting visits go nowadays. Outside of Julian Lewis, you do get a commitment this weekend. Three-star corner Jalen Bell out of Georgia commits to the Hoosiers. He's 5'11", 170 pounds, the three-star corner out of Georgia. This is another guy that the Hoosiers have gone down in the state of Georgia and gotten a solid player. And look, a lot of people are going to get hung up on the 3 stars. Who cares? It doesn't matter. He's a really good player. And he's playing out of Loganville, Georgia at Grayson High School. It's a solid program down there. And a guy that I think can come in and just improve and get better as the years go on. And he committed over the weekend with his visit, right? That's important to me. That's really important when a guy is enjoying it so much and feels comfortable enough to say, yeah, this is where I want to be. I'm ready to commit right here and right now. And that's exactly what Jalen Bell did. He had schools like Arkansas and Boston College going after him as well. And it's just another defensive addition. It's another piece to this class that the Hoosiers needed. And you get somebody like this from the South, a state in Georgia that, is obviously being locked down by Kirby Smart and the Dogs. You go in way down south and you get a really solid player. And I hope that Curt Cignetti continues to do that, going and getting this guy out of the state of Georgia. I think he's going to get better. I think he has a chance to be a 4-star when it's all said and done. For Jalen Bell, but exciting to hear and see that he committed over the weekend. He's the 9th addition to the 2025 class, highlighted by Byron Baldwin, the safety, coming in this class. You've got a lot of 3 stars in there. Blake Theory, the tight end. You have Evan Parker, a lot of linemen, which is good. Matt Merrick, and then a couple of other guys in there as well. But again, the weekend is highlighted by A, Julian Lewis, and B, a commitment from Jalen Bell. And so you begin looking and it's like, okay, what else is this program going to do, right? What else has Curt Cignetti got on the schedule? Well, more recruiting, more visits, getting closer to July, which is really when things start to really after the 4th of July is when college football starts to really ramp up. You start beginning to have all the different media days, and you have all these lists and top 25s and things like that coming out. And that just seems to be when everybody starts to get into the college football mindset and college football mood. And then when August hits, that's when football starts. I mean, you will have football played in the month of August. And so this team is not far away from getting summer out of the way and fall workouts underway and fall practice underway. I mean, it's the beginning of June. We're 2 months from August. And so there's a lot to be done here for Indiana and every team and program in the country, but there are no off days. There are no off season, no off weeks anymore, where in the past, June, you could kind of take off a little bit, take a little trip to the lake or go down to, the beach or whatever and take some days off. Not anymore. Not anymore. You have to recruit 24/7, 365 from the portal, from high school recruiting. You try to get NIL. You've got to continually recruit your own roster, which is insane, but it's the truth. And so right now for Curt Cignetti, they've just got to keep their foot on the gas, man. As year one as a head coach, you cannot let up. You cannot take a day off and relax, because if you do, either a new head coach will get ahead of you, or the programs that are already ahead of you will just continue to pull away and basically grow that lead that they have on you in everything that they do. It's crazy, man. And it shouldn't be that way, I think, but that's where we are in college football now. And you just have to buy into it. Here's what I'll say, though. On the recruiting side, the recruits that have been here, I mean, you got a commitment on campus this weekend, but they're really enjoying what they're seeing, and they're liking what Curt Cignetti has to offer. They're liking the facilities. They're liking the buy-in that Indiana is giving. That's what I'm hearing from recruits, and that's a really, really good sign. You continue to do that. No, Indiana's not where we need to be right now, but we're at least trying to get there. We're at least trying to be where we need to be. And on top of what we talked about a little bit on Friday that everybody's talking about with this new revenue sharing idea that's coming about, where schools are going to have $20 to $23 or $4 million to spend on recruits across all sports. That's going to open things up tremendously as well. That's got a lot of things to figure out, but that's going to be a huge part of this as well. And I think Indiana football can be on the benefiting side of that, having a little bit more money to go out and at least level the playing field with everybody else. But good things are happening around Indiana football. Big recruiting weekend this weekend, more upcoming. And hey, the season's right around the corner. We're 2 months from August when college football will officially begin. Coming up in our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers, we'll do a quick recap as Indiana baseball sees its season come to an end in the NCAA tournament. We'll recap that, recap what was an injury-plagued year for Indiana baseball, but a good season nonetheless. We'll have that for you in our final segment on Locked On Hoosiers. Today's episode of Locked On Hoosiers is brought to you by FanDuel. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel is giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. The finals are set, right? For the NBA, it's the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks. On the NHL side, just went final over the weekend. You've got the Edmonton Oilers and the Florida Panthers. I know that's not the most exciting matchup for some, and that's not what the NHL wanted, in my opinion. Dallas had a chance to get two teams in the finals for NHL and in the NBA. Couldn't quite do it, but I think both series are going to be a lot of fun, and I'll be definitely checking it out on FanDuel, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Final segment here on the show. Again, appreciate you being here and making this your first listen each and every day. Indiana sees its season come to an end. Indiana baseball, that is. They started off on a good note, right? They get the game one win on day one on Friday afternoon, and then the weekend just was not kind to this Indiana Hoosiers team. It was never a game, is basically what people are saying across multiple of these. The Hoosiers finished the year 33-26-1. They were able to get the opening day win on Friday against Southern Miss 10-4. And then from there, it was a 12-6 loss to Tennessee. And then the loss over in the final game to Southern Miss 15-3, where pitching just it let them down, and the wheels fell off, the axles fell off, the gears fell off, everything on the bus just completely shredded and just disintegrated, basically. I mean, the pitching, which, look, it was never a strong suit down the stretch. It was a lot of more offense for this team. They just couldn't ever get it going. And in that Tennessee game, I know it says 12-6, and I'm sure most of you watched it like I did. I felt like we were always kind of there. We were just waiting on the offense to continue. But, man, you give up 12 runs to the number one team in the country. What can you expect, right? You got a very good performance in the first game on Friday against Southern Miss. All things are looking good. You're looking good. You get 10-4. All right, got a good offensive showing. Pitching is fine. 4 runs. That'll work. And then you're not even shaking your head at the Tennessee game because it's the number one team in the country, right? You're at their place, and the number one team in the tournament, that's fine. 12-6, it is what it is. But, man, on Sunday, it just it was not good. 15-3, and nothing was working for this Hoosier staff. And it wasn't just one guy. It was the whole staff, man. They threw, just so many pitches and so many balls. They just couldn't find the strike zone where they were just all over the place. Nobody could find any control. Nobody had any command of the zone. And the few times that they did, these teams jumped all over them, and it was really over before it ever got started. While this year was, I guess the ending was disappointing, the Hoosiers still made it to the NCAA tournament for a team that saw about half its roster get hurt this year at some point. Some guys were out for the year. You had guys lingering injuries. I mean, it was a miracle that this team even made it to the NCAA tournament. And they didn't do that until, the last 2 or 3 weeks of the year, where they just got hot and made a run through the Big Ten tournament. I mean, it was still on selection day. It was 50-50 whether we were going to be playing postseason baseball or not. And I still think they made the right decision because we went and won our first game. We didn't go 0-2. We went 1-2. We actually got a win in the tournament, which tells me we belonged there. I know the ending wasn't what we wanted, and it was pretty brutal watching the final game over the weekend. But all in all, Indiana had a good year. You make another NCAA tournament, 33-26-1. You can build off of that. And now your third appearance in 5 years. Here's what Coach says, quote, "We were dead in the water there about a month or 6 weeks into the season. We were in a tough spot. We were struggling. We didn't cave. We didn't quit and back down. We put ourselves in a position to compete on the biggest stage. The best things in life are the hardest things. When you look at how hard it was at times and how we persevered through those things, that's what I'll remember the most. It's hard to get back up and continue to fight. That's what this group did, and that's why I'm very proud of. That's why I remember them for being a resilient and tough group that refused to quit," which is exactly right. That's so true. This was a fun team to watch down the stretch because they just were never out of it. They were never out of a game, never out of a series, and they just found ways to win more times than not until, of course, this past weekend. But they got to the tournament when everybody had said, Indiana who? What? Nah, they're done. Get them out of here. They're just another middle-of-the-pack Big Ten team. They're not worth anything. And then this team turned it on and found a way to hit that next level, get to that next gear, and eventually make it to the NCAA tournament. So, disappointing ending, but congratulations to them. This Indiana team making it to the tournament, getting a win, and then just kind of peeling off there at the end, and their season does come to an end. Well, that's going to do it for today's episode of Locked on Hoosiers. I appreciate you being here again, making this your first listen each and every day, adding it to your rotation, listening and watching whenever and wherever. Thank you so much for that. Be sure, if you're on YouTube, like the video and subscribe. Keep subscribing to the channel. If you're new here and haven't done so, please do. If you're a returning customer and haven't subscribed yet, come on, I need you. We're on our way to 3,000 subscribers. If you're on audio, you know the drill. Follow us, turn on notifications. That way nobody misses a new episode of Locked on Hoosiers. Until next time, Hoosier fans, stay safe, and I'll talk to you later.